Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio-exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
Having a life scholarship and being able to afford to go to college made me feel inspired to go.
When I got a life scholarship, it was such a relief.
I knew that I wanted to have an impact. Having a life scholarship through the SC Education Lottery was huge. It gave me the opportunity to make that impact right here at home.
The South Carolina Education Lottery. A better you, a better us, a better South Carolina. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Hi everyone, welcome back. I am back. Another week together here on the weekly Pomodoro. Another 20 minutes together where we dive into software engineering, technical excellence in software engineering especially, and we explore how to raise the bar in our work daily. This week, I'm diving into AI in general and AI coding assistant in my content. Also in the newsletter, I just released a new issue a couple days ago about the topic, and I want to discuss with you about a similar topic here. And so we will talk about AI coding assistant and, for example, Cursor, which I am using daily since 2 months now. And we will also think about what are people that are obtaining better results from these assistants doing to get those results. First of all, before starting, as always, I remember you to follow me on LinkedIn, which is my main and one and only social media. You can follow me and the Learn Agile Practices page, which also include my blog. Now I'm moving all my old blog posts under the LinkedIn page, and then I will start publishing new long form articles. You can also subscribe to the newsletter, micro learning, bite-sized newsletter every week in your inbox about technical excellence, Learn Agile practices, Lean, XP, DevOps, and everything you know I talk about in a small micro learning content every week. You can read it in a minute or two and you can learn something new every week. You can also support my podcast. You can just follow me, share the episode with everyone you think might be interested, and come to my LinkedIn page again to comment, leave a comment, and share your thoughts. You can also support me if you want. In my website, you can find a way to support me by using my referral links, but just sharing is enough. Now, I'll leave you with the jingle and then we start. Okay, so what's this episode about? This episode is about AI coding assistant, but especially I want to talk with you about the fact that a lot of people is claiming that their productivity is raising since when they started using those tools. And at first I was a bit skeptic, I have to say. Why? Well, because I honestly think that we are overestimating the impact of writing code faster in our work. Unless you are a junior and your only main activity every day is just writing code, if you are a mid or especially a senior software developer or even more, and if you are trying to do your job at best, especially if you do it in a product company and you're developing a product and you're not in one of those project jungles we all know too much, well, especially in this context, but in general, writing code is not the bottleneck. It's never the bottleneck. Writing code is just a tiny part, the last piece of our work. We need to understand what we're doing. We need to understand what the user wants. We need to understand what the stakeholders think about. We need to understand what the product really need. We need to, I hope you do it, drop away as much idea as possible and just keep and develop and write code for the most important. And we also have to write the less code possible, because it means we have less code to maintain and the system is easier to maintain. So in general, writing more code and writing it faster is never been a real objective. There are some use cases where this can come in handy, and I will talk about this later, but in general, this is not a very big deal. I think that writing code is 20% of my time, so you can imagine how little can be the impact of writing code a bit faster or even a lot faster. It has an impact, it can help, but it's not game changer in daily work. I think that the impact of AI today is real when it's global, right? So when it's not focused only on one single task, but in general, you can do almost anything faster today. And if you sum this velocity in every task, then you can gain some advantage. But let's stay on coding, right? Which is my work, which is what I do for a living. A lot of people is claiming a tempered productivity with LLMs and are spreading a lot of articles and LinkedIn posts or Twitter posts are spreading around to express this raise in productivity. But then it comes out that most of the time the outcome is not ideal, right? It's not good enough. We need to rework. We need to waste a lot of prompts to obtain a good result and everything. And in the latest weeks, I have seen a good amount of people starting to give suggestions on how to make the AI coding assistant you're using more helpful, more precise, and in general, how to prompt better for them. And I was amazed because it wasn't what I expected. So in general, I've seen this pattern where people is suggesting to make smaller changes and try to make smaller changes with the AI coding assistant to basically give feedback and say if the option that he proposed was good enough or not, to use testing to ensure that the written code was doing the right thing. So the common pattern I see basically is that people is discovering extreme programming thanks to AI in a certain way. I'm seeing that people is that maybe never actually tried or understood when they was the one writing the code on their own, how those practices could help them, are now discovering those practices to make sure that LLM is giving them better results. So basically they are using extreme programming, Agile, XP, Lean practices to obtain a better result from LLMs. And this on one side made me sad, because it's amazing how we are so good and ready to propose and try new practices to improve outcomes from others, and AI in this case. But a lot of these people was probably not using those practices on their own, when their own was writing the code. So this is a bit sad on one side, but on the other side, maybe this might be helpful. I mean, it might be helpful to the community to spread more those practices, because I know that we will never be in a world where there's no AI assisting us, probably, I hope, because otherwise we have bigger problems. But I think that, especially because we are now delegating some code writing to those tools, so this means it's harder to check if the written code is good or not and correct. But in general, I think that having more software developers, more people developing software with or without AI, with or without any kind of using those practices, can only be a good thing to the industry. Using those practices make a difference in any context, in any situation, with any technology. That's also one of the reasons why I fell in love with practices and methodologies, because they are transversal to any kind of situation you can find. Going back to AI-assisted coding workflows, I've seen a lot of prompting suggesting to try to make smaller changes, for example, which is, and then maybe test those changes and give feedback. And that would be great, even if you're not using AI, that would be amazing. It's basically one of the steps of continuous integration. I write a small piece of code, I test it, it's okay, didn't break anything that it was existing before, so I can commit to master. That's continuous integration in trunk-based development in a nutshell. So that's good. I've also seen XP practices suggested, like, for example, test-first approach, or at least thinking, refactoring, immediate refactoring after the first implementation, some sort of AI pair programming, right, where you are, when you are having a conversation with the AI, you're trying to make him do his best, which is exactly what should happen in a pair programming sessions, right? We are working together. I have the keyboard, you are the navigator, and you should try to help me write the best code possible together, and vice versa, instead of being passive. So that's one good aspect of this. And there's also trunk-based development, because people, again, is suggesting to do small batches of work because it's easier to check if the AI is doing good, right? So basically, this is amazing for me, but it's also a bit sad and incredible, again, because it makes me realize that these people, which is now...
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio-exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Host. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethost.com/terms.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Suggesting to use these practices now and wasn't using them before, I think they never understood they work. Because where does this need of using those practices now come from? It's just an assumption, but I'm thinking that this is because probably those people was used to work in isolation, to be individual contributors that maybe works isolated on a branch for weeks, and then at some point you have to merge your changes. Master branch is gone very far from you, so you have git merge hell, and you need to merge the conflicts, and you make a mess, etc., etc. But they consider this normal, so they never tried or they never found a good answer to the problem. They just work it that way, or they just said, I don't like to do pair programming because I don't like to talk with other people. I don't like to do test-driven development because I don't understand how to write a test for a code that doesn't exist, etc. And now they are not working alone. Even when they are alone, they are with an AI coding assistant. And now that they are having this conversation, they start to realize that, first of all, they need to have a good conversation, transparent conversation, give all the information needed. Second of all, they understand that if that AI coding assistant makes a lot of changes to the code, it's hard for them to understand if it's good or not. If the result is good enough, it's correct, is solving the business problem, etc. So they ask to their assistant to do smaller batches of work. So I just wonder why they wasn't doing that before. because that's how I'm using AI coding assistant since day one, because I was used to work this way even when AI wasn't here. So again, makes me worried and sad about those developers, but also makes me happy on a certain in a way, because maybe they are trying to see things differently. I also want to express that my favorite interaction with AI at the moment is doing TDD. I was doing TDD before, and I think that the first thing to give to AI is the green step. So I write the test, sometimes makes the code suggestions from AI help me to be a bit faster, but I want to check and make sure that the tests are correct. And then AI can write the first implementation for me. We can do refactoring together. Once I spot a good idea, I can have a conversation with him, ask him to refactor or ask him to suggest different approaches. So the green and refactoring steps are really, really good. It's very, very good to have this kind of conversation, even if it's not with a person. It's even better if you're doing real pre-programming with an additional AI, in my opinion, and also if the team is doing mob programming. But this is at least moving everyone in the position of not coding alone. So that's the biggest yes for me to AI in coding. Software developers not coding alone anymore. Even if it's just with an AI, it will never be perfect as pairing with a person, but at least you are not working in isolation this way. So I really, really, really suggest everyone to test AI coding assistant if you're a software developer today. And also, it's something that we can compare to when in some kind of works technology arrived some years ago and changed the way we build houses, for example, or we do any other kind of manual works, right? And people that was doing it without machines had to learn how to do it with the machines, and their work was also better after that. So we need to learn this tool. It's a new tool we have, makes our work easier, and at some point makes us work better on a certain point of view, because as I said, we are not alone anymore. We are never alone writing our code, thanks to that. And these can only have good impact on our work. But there is one thing that we need to keep in mind. Velocity, and especially velocity in writing code or typing code, is never the bottleneck. So we still need to focus on doing the right thing. Then we can do it fast. Efficiency is less important than effectiveness. Effectiveness is the most important thing. The most important thing is to ensure that we are going in the right direction. Once we know that the direction is correct, we can run. Otherwise, let's just make small steps. But the cool thing is that AI can help us also in this. For example, some use cases I've recently experienced. I have built a spike for a small football club that I help here, a local club here, and they are about to revamp and rebuild the football pitch, and they want to raise donations. So they wanted to have a system where people could pick their own square meters and donate based on the square meters. And I made an experiment to see if it was doable, because I didn't find anything ready, and I was able with Cursor and ChatGPT to build this simple page where people could pick their own square meters, see the total amount of the donation, and make a donation. So it was good for experimentation, for example. We are using it to make fast iteration on mockups for first ideas when we are building new features on my current company product. We are using it to do exploration. We are using AI to help us in finding the best solutions, the best ideas, and then build some mockups, some prototypes with no code, with low code, and then we can make interviews to users with something real, which is a lot better than using static images or just tell them or make questions, right? You can make them use it before you build it. The cost of this is very, very little today. So using AI in a product context today is a game changer because it lowers the cost of experiments. And this is very important in a product company. Again, that's where AI really makes the difference today, because it makes it easier to make some decisions and to make the correct decision. And this is much more important than writing a bit more code. So I want to recap a bit because I know I talked about different stuff, but in general, I am amazed by AI in coding assistant, and in general, as a tool. I am totally into AI agent. I'm building my own AI agents to help me, and this is great. I think that it's good that maybe some developers that wasn't totally into agile practices are now going into agile practices basically to use AI assisted coding better, and that's great, and I hope that they understand now what they were missing. I also think that AI can be a game changer in earlier steps, earlier phases of a product and a product discovery on a feature, and we should take more advantage of it. And I have to say that while some months ago I was a bit skeptic about AI, because I started using it again a lot of months ago with the TDD workflow that I described earlier, but people was just using it to code. So my idea was, okay, people would just produce more crap, more crapping code. Reviews would be even harder. So I was just seeing it in a very, very sad way. But today, I actually think that this problem might become an opportunity to spread agile practices even more. And I think that it will be easier for people to understand agile practices when using them with an AI assistant. And the reason is that people don't see that code as their own code. So it's easier to see that work as something that you can discuss with others. It's easier to not feel it as a personal attack. It's easier to see the need because you didn't write that code, so you also need to check it. When you write the code, you know what you did, you understand it, it's easy for you, so maybe sometimes you don't understand when other people are not convinced, but in that case, there's an AI that is writing it for you. So you are also one of those that needs to make a review. So maybe this can be an opportunity. This can help the industry, but we need to see if the industry wants to be helped, because too many developers are making the mistake of evaluating the tool based on the lines of code they write. It wasn't a good way to evaluate developers before, and it is still not a good way to evaluate developers today. So that's it. I really see AI as an additional team member of the team, to be honest, and I think it's the best way to see it. It's actually more than one additional team members. Luckily, it has the ability to keep the knowledge of more, and you can have a single interface to talk with, so we can see it as one additional team member. But in general, it's super important, again, that even people that wasn't used to work with others now are working with an AI. So they are starting to see that working together means something different. And that can be a good seed to grow as a software development team. Okay, so the Pomodoro is done, is completed. We are at the end of the episode. I hope it was interesting for you. Please, again, share the episode with everyone. Support my work. Come to LinkedIn to let me know what you think about this topic and to follow me for more content. See you next week with an Italian episode and in 2 weeks with a new English episode. Until that time, happy coding.
Breaking news from the stadium tonight as an anonymous fan foot the bill for 55,000 hot dogs, bringing that sweet tubed meat to everyone in attendance.
Free dogs! Yeah!
55,000 hot dogs? What does that even cost? While the identity of this Frankfurter philanthropist remains anonymous, their all-beefy generosity will go down in history.
The new Mega Millions. More to win means more to give. How you spend it is up to you. Yeah!
For game odds and details, visit SCEducationlottery.com.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.